Have you ever wondered what happens when billionaires break the law and run away from justice? Imagine having all the money in the world but not being able to live freely. Today, we'll dive into two incredible stories of wealthy fugitives who chose a life in the shadows. First, we'll meet Mark Rich, the billionaire oil trader who changed an industry while running from the FBI. Then, we'll hear from Seth Ferrante, a former fugitive who spent years dodging authorities and now shares the secrets of life on the run. The King of Oil, Mark Rich's story. Let's start with Mark Rich, known as the King of Oil. Born as Marcel David Rich in Belgium in 1934, his family ran from the Nazis twice before finding safety in America. His early life was shaped by persecution and survival, teaching him valuable lessons about adaptation and resilience. In Antwerp, his family had witnessed how 80% of the world's diamond trade was controlled by the Jewish community, but they couldn't break into this lucrative market. Instead, his father dealt in scrap textiles and footwear, always looking for new opportunities. This entrepreneurial spirit would later influence young Mark's approach to business. Early life and struggles. Rich's journey wasn't easy at first. In Kansas, where his family settled in 1941, he struggled to fit in. Being Jewish, having a different accent, and being physically smaller than his peers made him feel like an outsider. But these challenges only fueled his determination to succeed. His father's persistence paid off when, after 5 years of hard work, he managed to open a small jewelry store in 1946. This early exposure to business and trading would shape Rich's future career. The trading revolution. Rich was incredibly smart with numbers and had an exceptional talent for making deals. He transformed the oil industry forever by challenging the powerful cartel known as the Seven Sisters, which controlled 95% of the oil market. These giant companies had kept oil prices artificially stable at around $3 per barrel for decades. Rich saw an opportunity when the dollar depreciated drastically in 1971, causing chaos in oil-producing countries. He introduced the revolutionary concept of spot oil trading, allowing prices to fluctuate based on supply and demand. This innovation made him both wealthy and powerful, but it also put him in the crosshairs of authorities. The rise to power. Rich's journey to the top was meteoric. After learning the basics at Philip Brothers, he grew frustrated with their conservative approach. When they offered him only $150,000 for a bonus he thought should be $500,000, he made a bold move. Taking his best team members with him, he founded Mark Rich and Company in Switzerland. The timing couldn't have been better. The 1973 oil crisis saw prices skyrocket from $3 to $11 per barrel. His new company earned an astounding $1 billion in revenue in its first year, with profits reaching $200 million by 1976. Breaking rules and making billions. The real controversy began when Rich started doing business with countries under U.S. sanctions. During the Iranian hostage crisis of 1979, when Iranian students held 52 Americans captive for 444 days, Rich saw another opportunity. While Western companies were banned from buying Iranian oil, Rich's Swiss-based company became Iran's primary oil trader. The irony of a Jewish businessman dealing with Ayatollah Khomeini's regime wasn't lost on anyone. Rich bought between 60 to 75 million barrels of oil yearly from Iran, all while enjoying huge discounts due to the sanctions. The complex network. Rich built an intricate network of companies and partnerships to handle his growing empire. He used front companies, complex financial maneuvers, and international connections to move money and oil around the world. His business acumen was undeniable. He could spot opportunities where others saw only risks. Even his competitors admired his ability to connect buyers and sellers across political and geographical boundaries, especially in an era without modern communication technology. The Great Escape. In 1983, everything changed. The U.S. government indicted Rich on 65 criminal counts, including tax evasion, fraud, and illegal trading with Iran. The potential sentence was staggering: 300 years in prison. But Rich had prepared for this possibility. Before authorities could arrest him, he orchestrated a careful escape to Switzerland, a country with no extradition treaty with the United States. He even managed to move most of his business operations and assets beyond American reach. Life on the run, inside story. This is where our second story begins. Seth Ferrante, who spent 2 years running from federal drug trafficking charges, provides unique insights into the fugitive life. As someone who made it onto the U.S. Marshals' top 15 most wanted list, his perspective helps us understand what Rich might have experienced, albeit from a different social class. Seth's story shows us how being on the run affects both the wealthy and the ordinary criminal. The mental challenge. The psychological burden of being a fugitive is immense, according to Seth. The constant stress of maintaining false identities, the paranoia of being recognized, and the isolation from loved ones take a heavy toll. During his first 3 months on the run, Seth couldn't sleep properly, constantly checking windows and doors. Even Rich, with all his wealth and connections, reportedly struggled with anxiety and paranoia during his years as a fugitive. The art of disappearing. Seth explains that successful fugitives must master the art of becoming someone else entirely. This means changing not just your name, but your entire personality and background story. Rich managed this transformation differently. Instead of hiding in the shadows, he lived openly in Switzerland but had to carefully manage his international movements and business dealings to avoid capture. Survival networks. Both men emphasized the crucial role of support networks. Rich relied on wealthy friends, business partners, and even foreign governments to maintain his lifestyle and business empire. Seth explains that without trusted allies to provide safe houses, supplies, and information, most fugitives get caught within months. Rich's wealth gave him access to a much more sophisticated support system, including lawyers, bankers, and influential politicians. The daily reality. Life as a fugitive means constant vigilance. Seth describes how he would change identities frequently, moving between different personas to avoid detection. Rich, despite living openly in Switzerland, faced similar challenges on a different scale. He couldn't travel freely, had to carefully screen all his business partners, and lived with the knowledge that one mistake could end his freedom. Modern challenges. Today's fugitives face a very different world. Seth points out that with surveillance cameras, social media, and advanced tracking technology, staying hidden has become increasingly difficult. He believes modern fugitives must completely disconnect from technology or risk capture. Even burner phones can be dangerous if not used carefully. The wealth factor. The contrast between rich and ordinary fugitives highlights how money changes everything about life on the run. While Rich maintained his business empire from his Swiss mansion, most fugitives struggle to survive day to day. Rich could afford extensive security, fake documents, and trusted advisors. However, Seth notes that wealth can also make you a bigger target, attracting more attention from law enforcement and potential informants. The high cost of running. Both stories reveal the true cost of choosing to run. Seth eventually served over 2 decades in prison after his capture. Rich, despite his billions, missed family events, couldn't return home, and lived under constant threat of capture for 18 years. His wealth provided comfort but couldn't give him true freedom. The power of money. Rich's story reveals how wealth can influence justice itself. While on the FBI's most wanted list, he continued making powerful connections. He even became a partner in 20th Century Fox during the 1980s, selling his stake before his indictment became public. His influence extended to intelligence services, with reports suggesting he had relationships with various international agencies, including Mossad. The controversial pardon. The most controversial chapter in Rich's story came on January 20, 2001. President Bill Clinton, on his last day in office, pardoned Rich, sparking outrage and accusations of corruption. The pardon came after Rich's ex-wife Denise and others had made substantial donations to the Democratic Party and Clinton's presidential library. This decision remains one of the most debated presidential pardons in U.S. history. The final years. Rich spent his later years involved in philanthropy, perhaps trying to reshape his legacy. Until 2010, 3 years before his death, his fortune was estimated at $1 billion. He passed away in 2013 at age 78 in Switzerland, the country that had provided him sanctuary. His company, now known as Glencore, continues to thrive, generating over $200 billion in annual revenue. Legacy and lessons. The stories of Mark Rich and Seth Ferranti offer contrasting yet complementary perspectives on life as a fugitive. Rich's legacy is complex. He revolutionized commodity trading but became a symbol of corporate corruption. Seth transformed his experience into a way to help others understand the criminal justice system. Together, their stories teach us about the true price of freedom and the limits of what money can buy. The world they left behind. Rich's innovations permanently changed how commodities are traded. The spot market he pioneered is now the standard in oil trading. Meanwhile, Seth's insights continue to help law enforcement and the public understand the mindset of fugitives. Both men, in their ways, transformed their experiences into lasting impacts on society. Whether you see Mark Rich as a brilliant businessman or a clever criminal, and Seth as a reformed wrongdoer or a truth-teller, their stories reveal that money can buy comfort, influence, and even pardons, but not peace of mind. The life of a fugitive, regardless of wealth, is a life of constant worry and false identities. These stories make us wonder, is any amount of money worth living in a gilded cage? What would you choose, billions of dollars with a life in hiding, or freedom with a modest lifestyle? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Did these incredible stories change how you think about wealth and freedom? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about wealth, crime, and justice. Ring that notification bell to never miss our new videos. Share this video with friends who love exploring the complex world of money and power. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.